All right, we recorded running back preview part 2 on August 6th. Here we are on August 20th, 2 weeks later, and looking at some of the trends. And really, to me, it's about what's going on with the rookies. So comparing Fantasy Pros overall consensus, PPR, ADP from 2 weeks ago, Amarian Hampton has moved up a little bit. He's now RB16, but he's still in round 4. He's after Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara. Travion Henderson is RB23. He's 53rd overall. And then you have David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. And then you have RJ Harvey at 65th. Joe Mixon has plummeted from round 5 to round 7 spots in the running back rankings. Caleb Johnson has fallen from round 6 to round 7. Tony Pollard has jumped Caleb Johnson, but Johnson's still ahead of Warren. This is Fantasy Pros ADP. No, because here's my thought. When you look at overall ADP and you can't set a date range, you're not necessarily getting an accurate reflection. Like, for example, Ricky Pearsall and Emeka Ibuka are huge risers on CBS ADP if you look at them, but Ibuka is only about 100th overall. We know that's not where he's actually going. We know that's just the average of where he's going now and where he was going way before. So if we look at NFC ADP since August 13th, we have just the last week. Here's the running backs. Amarian Hampton's RB13. He's ahead of James Cook and Breece Hall. How do we feel about that?
I don't hate it. They're back-to-back for me, Cook and Hampton. I would definitely take him over Breece Hall at this point.
Too high for me.
I'll take Hampton.
Travion Henderson is RB16, kind of around the 3-4 turn. It's more wide receiver heavy drafting there, but he's RB16, Travion Henderson. He's ahead of Ken Walker, basically tied with Ken Walker, and about a full round ahead of Kamara and Chuba Hubbard. That's Travion Henderson. How do we feel about that as RB16?
Just about right.
I would
Too
take
rich
him
for
ahead
my
of
blood.
those guys as well.
So we don't
Especially
have
with that report about Walker.
RJ Harvey is RB21 after Chuba Hubbard and James Conner. This is over the last week on NFC. How do we feel about that?
Good.
It's about
Too low
right
for me. I'd take him higher.
Joe Mixon is RB32. He's going 94th overall. Caleb Johnson is RB27, and then it's Tyrone Tracy, and then it's Jalen Warren. So how do we feel about Caleb Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Warren, that string of 3 at RB's 27, 8, and 9?
I'll take Tracy and Warren over Mixon and Caleb.
Yeah, I got it. Warren, Tracy, Mixon, Johnson.
I'll take Tracy first. I'll take Caleb Johnson right behind him. And then Mixon and Warren maybe a round later.
Again, over the last week on NFC, Zach Charbonnet is a top 100 pick. Ken Walker.
Yeah, somebody just asked in the chat, what's the Ken Walker report I just referenced? It's the ESPN report about Walker missing so much practice time and Charbonnet not, that we may see closer to a even workload than we're expecting.
Yeah. Javonte Williams, still the first Cowboys running back off the board, and Quinshon Judkins is still the first Cleveland running back off the board, then Dylan Sampson, then Jerome Ford at RB 56. So I really think the big question here, Jamie, is, these rookie running backs. I think we have a really good track record of first-round pick rookie running backs getting a ton of work. I can give the stat in a moment, but basically over like the last 8 to 10 years or something, there's only been 2 that haven't had significant workload as rookies. One of them was Christian McCaffrey. He was sharing with, who the hell was he sharing?
Jonathan
Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart, yeah. And the other was, I want to say, Rashad Penny, who was playing behind Chris Carson. But for the most part, you're getting 16 or more, 7 or more touches per game for these guys. So, that's the round 1 guys, Genty and Hampton. The round 2 guys, I think the big question is when to take Henderson, Harvey, those 2 specifically, because you've moved them up. So, and Hampton too. The Triple H is the real question here. So we just talked about it. You just heard that, but that's, I think, has shaped running back strategy since the last time we spoke, where we go, well, you can just take Travion Henderson in round 5. Well, that's not happening anymore. RJ Harvey, I do think it's possible based on current trends to still get him in round 5. But with all that said, that's my preamble for this question. How should we approach running back this year?
I think it comes down to, your trust in these rookies versus your faith in these veterans. And, you're going to get differing opinions from all of us here because, Alvin Kamara, if you still buy into his extreme role in the passing game, Heath has laid out this week a couple times, certain programming about Kellen Moore's track record with throwing to running backs. Dave is still, based on his response to that, is very much believing in Kamara still, and we'll see how that sort of plays itself out. James Conner, if you still want to trust the 30-year-old running back who's had a very good track record, you're going to take him over some of these rookies. Chuba Hubbard, coming off the year that he had, you're going to trust him over some of these rookies. Obviously, Heath is very high on DeAndre Swift, and please stop me if I'm saying the wrong thing for any of you, because I don't want to, say the wrong thing. But for me, I'm putting my faith probably a little bit too much, and we'll see if it, it comes back to haunt me. But in the 3 rookies not named Ashton Genty, of I guess Triple H, right? So
Triple H.
Hampton is only going to benefit that much more. Whatever excitement you had for him coming out of the NFL draft, because of the Najee Harris injury. And if the athletic report about his status on the NFI becomes true, that he misses the start of the season, Hampton may be around 2 pick, with the excitement level just getting that much ramped up, so you may continue to go ahead of James Cook and maybe get closer to where that Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown group is. Understandably so. Henderson is a wild card because he's not going to be the lead rusher to open the season. I think they've told us that with what they did in the second preseason game, giving Antonio Gibson that opportunity instead of seeing if Henderson can handle it. But it wouldn't shock me if he's a close split with whoever the lead guy is, Ramondre or Gibson, mostly Ramondre. And his role in the passing game could be amazing. And then Harvey, you said it, Adam, he hasn't moved as much. Probably because everybody loved what they saw from J.K. Dobbins last year, and maybe a little bit concerned that Harvey played at UCF comparatively to Ohio State, if you're just talking about, college profiles and not seeing him as much. I just think I'm going to trust Sean Payton's system and his explosiveness. So I'm leaning toward all 3 of these rookies. 2 of them are round 3 for me in terms of Hampton and Henderson. Harvey's in round 4. I want to be aggressive in drafting them. I want to have them on my fantasy team.
Okay. There's other topics here to cover when it comes to running back. So, Heath, why don't you just give me the lay of the land of running back, how you see it and how you're drafting?
I'd like to have at least 1 running back in the first 2 rounds. If you want to go the hero RB approach, that includes that. If you want to go heavy running back, I think there are wide receivers that can make that valuable in the 4 through 6 range. So I'm okay with that as well. I've kind of been a pretty big proponent over the years of 0 RB in a year as a possibility. It feels like less of a possibility this year. And I don't think I've drafted any teams with that approach. One change I've made, because I don't know if we ever got to that part, but I did. I was going to give Achane a week and see if he was fine next week. And I have 2 drafts going on right now, and one starting in 15 minutes, and one Saturday and one Sunday. And I realized, I shouldn't wait a week for everybody else who's also drafting this week. So I moved Achane down to RB6.
First round pick for you still?
1-2 turn, 12 or 13.
Okay. All right, Dave, same question to you. Just give me some, hey, I know you. You're Dave Richard. Hey, can I stop you for 30 seconds and you can tell me how to draft running backs this year?
Yeah, let's take a 30,000-foot view of the position and what you should do before draft day. Number 1, you've got to know how big your league is, what's the scoring system, how many running backs can you start. That includes flex spots. The fewer running backs that you start, the less likely you're going to prioritize that position. Usually it depends on how many receivers you could start where you would make that determination. But the thing you got to do before you draft is figure out how many running backs you believe are startable options. The smaller that number is, the more you should push for running backs with your first few picks. The bigger that number is, well, the more you could probably get away with a hero RB start or maybe even a 0 RB start, especially if you really love the rookies as much as Jamie does. I certainly love my fair share of the rookies too. And if you want to trust those guys as starters for your fantasy team, you could begin with 2 of the top 9 or 10 wide receivers in your draft and still pick up 2 rookie running backs. And you go to battle this season, week 1, with those guys in your lineup. So I would go find a rank list. Doesn't have to be mine or anybody on the shows, but any rank list. Go to ADP. Just start making a list of how many running backs that you're good to go with. For me, it's wherever David Montgomery is. Once you get past David Montgomery, I get a little skittish about the running backs after him being reliable starters for my fantasy team. So in a league where I start 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers, my goal is to get 2 of those first 23 running backs.
That includes
I'd like to get two running backs in my first 5 picks, and then one of potentially Tracy, Warren, Charbonnet, Allen, Jordan Mason,
Mason, yeah.
and then one later of Tootin, Jaden Blue, Jerome Ford, one of those type of guys.
Okay. I like that. All right. One sleeper, one breakout, one bust. Dave, Heath, Jamie. Let's get a sleeper. Dave.
Sleeper running back. Do I just take the easy name? You know what? I'm not going to take the easy name. In fact, I'm going to take his teammate, and I think you can still get him in round 9+. It's Austin Eckler, who I think is going to end up with more work than we think because of what's going on in the Commanders' backfield.
Heath.
So the easy name Dave was referencing was Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and he has an ADP that's outside of the round 10. And if your league's not paying attention, he will be there. If your league is paying attention, he won't be close to there. So I will say Tank Bixby. I still think he'll be the leading rusher for Jacksonville, assuming he's on the team. And if he's not on the team, he may be in a much better situation than he's in right now.
Jamie.
Braylon Allen.
All right. Breakout. Dave, Heath, Jamie.
The breakout running back that I want to go with is Bucky Irving. I think he can be better than he was over the course of last season. And I would take him in round 2.
Heath.
Trevion Henderson, I'll have him in round 3 by the end of the day. Probably he was already at 38th overall. They're not going, like, I know they plan on using Ramondre on early downs. They're just not going to be a good enough offense to where they can leave that explosiveness on the bench for more than, say, 30% of the snaps, 40% of the snaps.
Jamie.
RJ Harvey. I think he belongs in round 4. I think he'll be the best running back for the Broncos. And if J.K. Dobbins gets injured, which unfortunately happens a lot, then we could be talking about a top 10 running back.
And a bust. Dave, Heath, Jamie.
The boring names are Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon because they're older. One of them, we don't even know when he's going to play. I'll leave the exciting name to Jamie.
Okay. Heath.
I'll say Alvin Kamara, whose CBS ADP is up to 28th overall. I do not want to draft an older running back who has had decreased efficiency, who has had injuries in the recent past, and who could see a decrease in his passing downs on the worst offense in the NFL.
I thought Dave was going to say DeAndre Swift. We got to figure out what the bet is between Swift and
I should have said DeAndre Swift. You're absolutely right.
We'll figure that out. Jamie, what's the bust?
I'll go Breece Hall. Just again, round 3 is way too soon. I still think he will be the best running back for the Jets, but I don't think it's going to be that far apart from Breece Allen. So I just can't understand his ADP not falling at this point.
What is the ADP of Saquon Barkley right now?
Well, let's use
3.
There's so many different sources, but yeah, sure. 3rd overall.
I think it's too high.
Right.